Live from New York City, it's the Wendy Williams Show.
Hello, this is the Hot Topic Show. What we do?
We won't judge, but we're judging. It's going to be juicy.
Now, here's Wendy.
There's more to the story. Let's get started. It's time for Hot Topics. Come on. It's a beautiful day here in New York. It's going to be 80 degrees, and Mama June is in the building. I am so excited. All right, so the more to the story. Oof. Well, I had to be reminded. Now, I covered this story many years ago. I think this is back when I was on the radio. Yeah, 10 years ago, I was on the radio. I used to do this, well, a lot of the same chit-chat that I do here for you. Anyway, Mel B married that man 2 months after giving birth to Eddie Murphy's baby. Now, that's the tea. I mean, you know, we talked about the story. Everybody's talking about the story. I forgot about this part of the story, though. I mean, first of all, now the little girl is 10 years old. And this man, Stefan, he wants to see his daughter. He wants to have a relationship with her. He wants his visitations because he was there when this little girl was born. Now, the little girl, this one's 17, and this one is the one we're speaking of. Or maybe it's that one. I'm confused. Anyway, a lot of kids, a lot of confusion going on. But the main thing is that only one of them is a Murphy, and this man, Stefan, was the only man in her life, you know, raised her. What kind of man dates a pregnant woman? I mean, I'm not judging Suzanne.
No, I hear you.
But
I know. I don't know.
But what kind of pregnant woman puts herself out there on the track to be dated?
I don't know.
I mean, you at least, no, I'm just saying.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
You can't wait 9 months to have the baby and sort out your life. You got a date. But I guess he saw an opportunity, you know, that Eddie Murphy child support money, and that Spice Girl money and X Factor money. And remember, he's not even a real Belafonte. He married her under the ruse that he was Harry Belafonte's son. Well, he changed his name to a Belafonte. His real name is something else or another. Well, Mel has said in the past on a podcast that Eddie Murphy, this is what she said on the podcast, that Eddie Murphy is really no kind of father to this 10-year-old. And that, you know, Stefan is the real dad. Stefan is the dad. And Eddie only sees her occasionally, I guess, you know, to go to Friendlies or something like that for a fribble. Anyway, in my heart, I feel like Eddie's supposed to step in and do something. In my heart. But in reality, a dad is only a sperm donor. A father is the one that raises you. So if Mel B has admittedly put this man in the father situation, then why does Eddie have to step in? Eddie's just cleaned his life up. Eddie is living the good life. Let me tell you something. When you're in Hollywood and you're 56 years old and you can still afford to splash out millions of dollars and raise 6 kids and have 1 divorce under your belt and nobody's complaining, plus he's got a brand new baby, this Eddie Murphy does, after all the scandal that he was, and there's no word, there's no word that I ever heard that he and Mel B had an actual relationship. It was just, I guess, something to do. And then I guess she got pregnant. She got pregnant and he left her, you know? And that's that. That's why you gotta use your protection. You gotta watch who you get pregnant by. Although I've never heard her complain about child support. The Eddie Murphy money is long. At 56 years old, he survived that scandal because, you know, it's very scandalous when a man leaves a pregnant woman, but we don't know the story behind this. And remember the scandal with the transvestite. Eddie, I'm just here to remind the people of your past and the fact that he's cleaned up all the mess from the past. He could be dead, in jail, broke, or all three. But at 56 years old, he looks good and still has his money and Hollywood respect. Now, this is terrible because this man has allegedly, she's alleging, has beat the stew out of her, you know, and she put up with this, I guess, for 10 years. It's also terrible that we don't know whether he's horrible to the kids. You know, sometimes when a man beats, they don't necessarily beat in front of the kids, but everything affects the kids, mentally speaking. Like the mom is pissed off. The mom is always wearing a lot of makeup to cover black and blue marks. It's just off. Oh, but he does have the right, if you love your kids, you don't beat your mom, their mom, allegedly. I think this is a job for the court system. And here's what I would suggest. I would suggest, Stephen, if that's your real name, I would suggest that you tell your side of the story to the courts. Mel B, please, I know you probably talk trash about Stefan, because Mel's now with the kids, you know, and the little girl is 10. 10 years old, you can pump them full of all kind of stuff. Daddy don't love you. You know, look what Daddy did to me last night. You know? And that's human nature. It's not right, but it's okay. I think that the courts need to sit down with this 10-year-old girl for at least a month of counseling. Every single day after school, she needs to go without the parents. And they need to talk to her and get in her head and find out what kind of dad is Stefan Belafonte, if that's his name. I suspect, oh gosh, this is the story that we'll keep on giving, so I won't belabor the point. Let's move along. Terrible. Tiny and T.I. Oh, you've heard. It's really trifling. Okay, Tiny has declared war on her husband T.I.'s alleged sidekick. Now, her name is Bernice. Now, she doesn't look like a Bernice, does she? Like when you're young, we talked about this the other day. When you're young, what makes your mom and dad look at you and say, your name will be Walter? Or Helen. So Bernice is one of those names. Anyway, she's 36. And she's one of those Instagram girls or something. Yeah, she's an Instagram model. Instagram model, is that what we're calling it? Okay. Well, allegedly, this has been going on for a period of time with she and T.I. And she posted this video, and she's dancing along with the Escape song, the hit Just Kickin' It. And that's Tiny's girl group, who, by the way, I hear is getting back together. Yeah. In the meantime, that's the girl. I guess that's her friend. But look, Anyway, Tiny didn't like it, and she clapped back, saying, you know, that man you speak of was laid up with me, with his wife last night. Well, even cheating husbands need a night off. I don't know what to say about this. So Bernice clapped back saying, you're not even the old Tiny from Escape. You're a whole new person. Well, Bernice, she's not saying anything much. Tiny has copped to all of her procedures, including flying to Africa to balloon up her eyes. No, they're beautiful and blue. I wonder if they hurt when she blinks. You know what I mean? I wonder if they hurt. Because, you know, Suzanne, one wrong move, like...
Oh, no. The thought of it makes me nauseous.
Say the blue part pops out a little bit more...
I know. I can't even
than how
open
the
my
brown
eyes.
part was.
Oh!
You know, like when people get veneers and then they can't talk?
Yeah.
You know, their teeth are so thick. How you blinking, Tiny? Anyway. Their show comes back on Monday. The streets have been talking about Tiny and T.I.'s relationship for years. Allegedly, this is what they say, allegedly, some sort of open relationship. She's filed divorce papers and hasn't signed off on anything. They both live in separate houses. And oh, by the way, The Family Hustle, their reality show, comes on, new season on Monday. T.I., you're so sloppy despite your persona. I mean, you've really, you know, remember the thing with the guns and then you went to jail for a long time and Tiny had to hold the family down and stuff? Remember the trap music and all the, remember? And then the other day I walk in my office and he's sitting with the panelist on The View. I'm like, look at our man. Oh yes, those prescription glasses. He was talking real nice. He got himself some new teeth. So you know the teeth, but his are good. He's got new teeth, and he wears cardigans, and he's got kids, including that goober major. So from the outside, it all seems good. But behind the scenes, is it worth it? All right, anyway, let's move along. Oh my gosh, all right. You know, so. The United Airlines thing, the man being dragged off the plane. We've all seen the video. He was forcibly kicked off the plane. The flight was overbooked. Airlines say that they often overbook flights to make sure that, you know, every seat is taken, but they do that at the expense of us. The flight, he refused to give up his seat. Just take a look and then we'll continue to talk.
Hey, come on. Come on. There you go. Hey, you busted his lip.
Oh my God, look at what you did to him. Oh my God.
And why is the one thing that I notice is I don't think he's wearing underwear. I think I saw something. But look, about this man. Do you want me to play it again? Oh, well, this is him. He ran back on the plane. Yeah, he ran back on the plane after they kicked him off the plane. Once you get kicked off the plane, do you run back on? Maybe if you don't want to work for the rest of your life because you got a huge, gigantic lawsuit. The man, okay. This man is no hooligan, not that that would make it right. He's been identified, as you probably heard by now, that 69-year-old doctor, his name is Dr. David Dow, and he was flying from Chicago to, I believe, Kentucky, Louisville, and he's an internist. He's an internist, and he was going to see his patients. Oh, more to the story, you ready? His wife is a pediatrician. 4 out of 5 of their children are doctors. United Airlines, you are in trouble. Trouble. Okay, so, you know, and it wouldn't matter what he does for a living. You know, the one officer was suspended. You know, from what I understand, the way they vet us on planes is they look up what our frequent flyer miles are, like secretly. This is how they kick you off the plane, or, you know, if they have to do this, which I didn't know a kickalation was legal, but down in the fine print, it says, yep, you can be kicked. But they picked this man. First of all, they probably picked him because he's a solo man on the plane, which is singleism. You know, don't do that. Second of all, he was slight in size, because I know I couldn't be dragged down an aisle. You know what I mean? You know, the aisles are very skinny. Look how close everybody is. So he was slight in size, and the cops probably were having a bad day and being bullies, and so that's what you have. So United Airlines presidents think that everybody, you know, did their job on this perfectly. Other people calling for protest of United Airlines, and of course, Vietnamese people everywhere are up in arms. The man yelled out, as a matter of fact, Dr. David, before they you know, threw him off. He was like, you know, you're doing this because I'm Asian. Well, that's what black people do. I mean, you know. I mean, you know, there's always the race card. But in this particular case, I think it was probably more of the solo card than the race card. You know, a man flying by himself, small in stature,
right,
so they could tap, tap, tap,
yep,
and ask him to go.
We're the first to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, enough of that story. Look, because I'm sure that there's going to be more to it, but United Airlines, I'm sure, is going to be in the hot seat for a long time with this, and I know that the people at Pepsi are probably so happy. Because we as consumers, we forget so quickly, but Pepsi, we're not forgetting. And you know, the Kendall Jenner thing, trivializing protests, you know what I'm talking about. Do you drink soda still? Kylie, her younger girlfriend, or excuse me, her younger sister, Kylie is getting her own reality show. You saw this coming. It's gonna be 8 episodes. It's gonna be on E! It's gonna be called The Life of Kylie, which if you're old enough, you remember the show The Life of Riley. The Life of Kylie, following her around. The show, I'm sure, is gonna be a big sensation. The ratings are down this season on the Kardashians, which you would think, you know, Kim being held up, you know, in a hotel room and the other drama might attract you to wanna watch, but no, are you done? Yes. Do you still, clap if you still watch. Wow, what a difference from, yeah. So 50 Cent got a bit overzealous, but avoided a lawsuit because the girl wanted to be famous. See, I would have fallen on the ground afterwards, and no, but okay. He was performing in Baltimore over the weekend, and an excited fan grabbed his hand, and he ended up punching her. Oh, please. We got the footage, thank you, TMZ. He punched her in the chest, he popped her boobs. Oh, no. No. Before I saw the woman, that's what I was thinking in my mind. You know, like, you know, if you're front row at a 50 Cent concert, how do you get that close to the stage? You have to have one of those bodies, you know, that small waist. But this is what 50 did. He did punch her in the chest, though, and then he immediately called her on stage and whispered something in her ear, and all was forgiven, and then she began twerking. Nuh-uh. And see, this like, you got punched in your boobs, ma'am. I'm sure that they hurt today. A man punched you in your boobs. Then again, you shouldn't have grabbed. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The problem is when fans get overzealous, that's when things go awry. Like, she should have just been cool with it. And also, he shouldn't have reached down. Like, I don't really understand that. Like, when you're on a stage, why do you reach down to shake people's hands or give them dap? And then the fans, you know, you grab like this, but 50, why don't you just yak back? It's okay, because you've got the receipts now. You and this woman made up, and there's no lawsuit, so you dodged a bullet. All right, we've got more great show for you, everybody. We've got the hottest spring shoe trends. But up next, the moment we've all been waiting for, Mama June is here. Grab a snack.